Constitution and bending the Constitution any way the judges want.
You know, tell the listeners some of these things that you list here about Kagan. You say she's a far cry from being a constitutionalist who represents the original intent of our founding fathers.
Well, she invited a judge to the Harvard Law School as a speaker and called him her judicial hero. He was an Israeli judge, and he's known worldwide as the most activist judge. He's on record as saying judges should create law, should make law, and even in a very curious statement said judges should channel their views into the law. Now, that is a curious word. You remember when Hillary Clinton was channeling with long-deceased Eleanor Roosevelt?
Well, in fact, this guy, Judge Aaron Barak, what you were talking about channeling, his actual quote here, and even the very beginning is kind of scary because he said, "You must sometimes depart the confines of the legal system and channel into it, like just forget about what's really the law and just, you know, find out what your aura or your spirit, I guess, is telling you to do." But the fact you say this should be the one thing that disqualifies her is because that's her judicial hero. He even said something like in Israel that he would just throw out all the laws because if he thought it would be to his advantage.
Yes, and Judge Robert Borg said that statement of Elena Kagan about Judge Barak in and of itself should be enough to disqualify her. And that was a very, very strong statement from Judge Bork, and I agree with that. And, you know, it's very similar to the statement that Obama made on a Chicago station when he accused the Earl Warren Court of not breaking through the restraints put in the Constitution by the Founding Fathers.
Because, and that was WBEZ Chicago, and he said, let's see, the Warren Court wasn't radical enough because, quote, it didn't break free from the essential constraints placed by the Founding Fathers in the Constitution in order to allow redistribution of wealth. And you know, Phyllis, you remember about a month ago when he described what wealth really was, you know, that he says, yes, I think some people make too much money. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I think someone said, well, that would be $1 more than he's making.
Well, he's made plenty of money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and if you want those exact quotes we've been talking about, you can find them on my website. And I know you've read my book, Chuck, called The Supremacists, about the court. And the Earl Warren Court was the worst of all the courts because that's where all the bad decisions started. Whether you're talking about religion cases or property rights cases or porn cases or immigration cases or elections cases or feminism cases, they all started with the Warren Court. And here you've got Obama saying they weren't radical enough because they didn't redistribute the wealth.
They didn't go with his line of thinking or his socialist thinking.
But Elena Kagan does, and that's the whole point of it.
Now, Senator Arlen Specter, in your column that you wrote, said he asked her views on using foreign and international law or decisions to interpret our constitutional laws, and she wrote in reply that she approves using reasonable foreign law arguments. And you remember, Phyllis, how she made it a done deal that the students at Harvard would study foreign law but not United States Constitution law?
That's right. She made it a freshman course, and anybody who's been to law school knows your first-year courses are the most important. They ought to give the bar exam after the first year. And she replaced constitutional law with international law. And she invited this guy to be on the faculty, and he's a transnationalist. You know what a transnationalist is? It's somebody who believes in integrating foreign law and treaties into U.S. domestic law. And, of course, that's completely contrary to the Constitution, which says the judges should be bound by the Constitution and the laws that are made in pursuance thereof.
You know, tell the listener, because I didn't know this till I read your article about, let me see here, federal law requires all educational institutions receiving federal funds, and this is not the military thing here, to present an educational program on the U.S. Constitution on every Constitution Day, September 17th. Now what did she do?
That's the legacy of Senator Bob Byrd, who just died. He put that law through, and it's a good law.
But she said no. She thumbed her nose down, and she brought in some, the transnationalists that you're talking about. Yeah, so she just, this is very, very scary.
She's the judicial image of what Obama wants.
You know, Phyllis,
it's really scary.
Yeah, a little off subject here, but you know, you were talking about Byrd, and he put in that great law for the Constitution Day. Did you hear what Bill Clinton said at the eulogy today at his funeral? Oh my goodness! Here's a quote: Bill Clinton talking about Byrd. He once had a fleeting association with the Ku Klux Klan. What does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. He was a country boy from the hills and hollows from West Virginia. He was trying to get elected. Now, I wonder if whenever he denounced the KKK, if he was trying to get elected. And then Bill went so far to say, and he knows very well, there are certainly no perfect politicians. That's how he ended it up there.
Well, that's right. But some of that
is make your day.
And that's what we got to do. We got to evaluate them in November, and we've got to pick some who are better.
Now, you were talking about Feldman publishing a New York Times Magazine article, and he was worried about Obamacare and her whole thoughts on that, on what Obamacare is. I wonder if that was what somebody was asking her the question, if you had to have 3 hot meals and 2 vegetables every day. They were sort of alluding to Obamacare, weren't they, on that question to her?
Yes, I think they were, and that article by Feldman in the New York Times Magazine, well, you know, it's long and wordy like academic articles are, but the bottom line is Obama and Feldman and his friends are worried about when some of Obama's unconstitutional actions get into the Supreme Court. Is the court going to uphold them or knock them down? As you know, there are lawsuits filed against Obamacare by state attorneys general all over. And there'll be other lawsuits against what he's doing, because he's doing a lot of unconstitutional things. Now, it is pretty clear that Kagan's going to back up Obama no matter what he does, and that's why he wants her on the court.
And marching toward the socialist economy. And you know, I had a guest on talking about this Obamacare and all the court challenges, and now supposedly they say they may start calling Obamacare, they may label it as a tax. And there's something, you would know better than I, but there's something about if you call it a tax, well, then constitutionally, yes, you can pass it. It's not demanding that people, you know, buy into it. It will be called a tax, and then everything will be wonderful. Hey, Phyllis, I got to take a break, and if you'll hang on, we'll come back and we'll wrap this up. Phyllis Schlafly, president and founder of Eagle Forum, and the website is eagleforum.org. eagleforum.org. Be right back with Phyllis Schlafly.